On this week's weekly video fishing forecast, we have the latest on blackfish and striped bass. Matthew Broderick answers another question by a viewer. Fisherman senior editor Fred Golofaro lets us in on a very productive fishing technique and reports from around the island by anglers like you. All here at the all-new fisherman.com. The fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to our YouTube channel and tap on the bell to be notified instantly when we post a new video on YouTube. It's been blowing hard since the weekend, and many of you remain tied to the dock. For those working the beaches along the South Shore, there are still lots of schoolies and slot fish. Let's look ahead to the weekend's weather with News 12 meteorologist Rich Von Olin.
All right, thanks, Tim. Hey, guys, meteorologist Rich Von Olin here, News 12 Long Island Weather Center. Let's check that weekend forecast. And it is, of course, November, so you've got to expect the winds are going to be a little more gusty more often, and that's going to be the case again next few days. So water temp still in the 50s, not too bad. Seas 2 to 4 right by the shore, west-northwest. So the closer you are to shore, a little better it's going to be, far offshore about 4 to 8. It's going to settle down a little Saturday. It's a west-northwest about 5 to 15, maybe a few gusts to 20. Shouldn't be like what was last Saturday. I think a little better. And then we get towards Sunday, the winds go east, southeast, and when that happens, we get 4 to 8, so it's going to be the rougher day. Futurecast shows the winds, again, generally about 5 to 10, maybe 10 to 15, a little rougher on the east end on Saturday. Decent shot, but not bad. It's manageable. And then Sunday, you get that return flow from the northeast, east, and then southeast, about 10 to 20, maybe gust to 25. It's going to rile things up. So Sunday definitely looks a lot rougher. High tides on North Shore early morning on Saturday, about midday on the South Shore, 50s to near 60, not bad on Saturday, and some mid-50s on Sunday. So not terribly cold, but a little bit rough. Here's a guru here. There's your Saturday, and we are dealing with what looks like a west-northwest most of the day. Not bad with the seas right there. Doesn't look too bad. But Sunday, we start to get some of the green here, some of the easterly southeast, about 10 to 20. That's going to chop things up late in the day, so things a little nicer on Saturday. But overall, the weekend, not terrible. Get out there, enjoy, be safe as always. Tim, back to you.
Remember, be sure to check out News 12 for the latest weather before heading out on the water. Want to have fun with schoolies? Fisherman senior editor Fred Golofaro has a technique that works great with light tackle. Fred?
A lot of people have been coming up to us, especially the past several weeks, past month, some of the beaches we've been fishing, and we're seriously out fishing. A lot of guys that are throwing 10, 11-foot rods and the typical diamond jig and tube with a teaser. Yes, you'll catch plenty of fish on that rig. Some days you will, some days you won't. The nice thing with the snap jigging is when the fish aren't in a feeding mode, the technique does incite strikes. And some days where we've had 30 to 40 fish apiece. Guys are just picking away. Just had it happen again this week at demo. A guy did nothing for 2 hours. I had fish on almost every cast, a fish or a hit for an hour and a half. So it does make a big difference. Your choice of tackle is critical. You want, first of all, we use light tackle, small rod, 6-foot rod is ideal. This happens to be a Loomis medium action. It was actually designed for freshwater bass fishing, matched up to a 2500 or 3000 series reel and 10-pound test. Yes, 10-pound test is all you need on this outfit, and it does play into the effectiveness of the technique. Less water resistance, less wind resistance, and very good feel for the jig. I'll connect a 3 to 4 feet, sometimes go as far as 5 or 6 feet of 20 or 30-pound test mono, and you want to tie direct to the jig, to the bucktail. Notice there's nothing on here, there's no trailer, it's a plain unadorned bucktail. And again, all this is part of what makes it successful. The final item is the actual snap jigging technique itself. Takes a lot of effort, but it's really, I see people try to imitate what we're doing on the beach, and they're giving like a half-hearted snap, a jerk. You want a real exaggerated snap, but the key to that is maintaining contact with the lure when you're doing that. That means when you snap it, you have to reel down, make sure there's no slack between your rod and the lure, because almost every hit will come as that bucktail's dropping, and you won't be able to feel that if you have any slack at all. So very critical. It takes some practice. Once you master it, believe me, your catch results are going to improve dramatically. Definitely worth the effort and time. The bucktails I use are tied by Captain John Padalano. They're called premium bucktails. My two favorites are the sand eel pattern and the bay anchovy pattern. Put all that together and you'll have a ball. I mean, would you rather be catching 22, 24, 26-inch fish on a rod like this or on a 10, 11-foot surf rod with 30-pound test? Give it a try. You will be very surprised at the results. This technique does not only apply to those small fish. You know, I've had fish up to 30 pounds this fall already. Captain John's had multiple fish in the 30s, up to 45 inches. And yes, you can land them on this tackle. And believe it or not, it doesn't take any longer than it does on the big rod. Fish a tight drag. A 10-pound fish shouldn't be able to take any drag. You can put tremendous pressure on these outfits. The braid obviously tests out more than 10-pound test. And again, there's no problem handling a bigger fish. I've had, as I said, fish to 30 pounds and multiple fish 18, 20 pounds on this rod. The nice part, as I said, though, is you will have a lot more fun catching the bulk of those fish you're going to be catching, which are anywhere from 18 to 26, 27 inches.
One place you can fish all winter long are the rivers and freshwater ponds around the island. With more, here's Paul McCain from River Bay Outfitters.
Hello, Tim. Well, here it is. It is November, and today it's not even going to get over 40 degrees. But we still have some good weather coming, and I will tell you, I actually guided yesterday out of the Shinnecock. I took my friend Rob. We went out there to practice fly fishing because he's going steelheading. And we're in the parking lot, and there were, you know how it is, people were sitting around waiting to get signed up. And I was helping this Ritz who comes in from Manhattan how to rig a rod. She really didn't know how. And so I helped her out. And then I said, yeah, you should stop by my fly shop. She goes, there's a fly shop on Long Island. I go, what? I am the premium fly shop. You got to stop in. We want to help you out. So we actually had a great time. Rob caught his first trout on a fly. He actually landed 4 trout, brought them to the net. He had about 4 others on the fly. We're finding that right now, slow. That cold weather made him slow down. So fish, try fishing nymphs, try fishing streamers. And we did actually have a couple hits on ants. So get out there where you can. This is a terrific fishery all year long. Now, as far as saltwater goes, well, it's starting to wind down. There are still bass around. Offshore, in the surf, out east, there is still some bass out east. There is still fishing. Or you can do like I'm doing. I'm going to go steelheading next week. Hopefully, I'll put some of those crummers in the net. Until next week, tight lines, everybody.
We have another question for Long Island Managing Editor Matthew Broderick from one of our subscribers. Ken wants to know how to walk the dog. No, not that dog.
My mistake, Tim. We're talking about walking the dog, the fishing technique. The fishing technique, walking the dog, offers a lot of benefits that opposed to working a regular popper would. Poppers are great, don't get me wrong, but the action of walking a dog, that side-to-side action, really gets the fish to come up and hit the plug. There's been instances where I've been using a popper and I switched over to walking the dog technique, and I got hits instantaneously. It's a real simple action. It's a downward jerk of the rod, and once you get that rhythm, the rhythm is really important. The plug works itself back and forth real easily. Once again, working the popper is a great way to get some fish on top water action. But if that's not working for you, don't be afraid to pull out a walk the dog style lure and try that as well. It'll get you the hits that sometimes you never will with a regular popper.
If you have a question for Matt, leave it in the description on YouTube or send me an email at libayrat@gmail.com. For Montauk, we have Captain Timothy O'Rourke.
Thanks, Tim. Well, greetings, everybody from Montauk. As everybody's starting to figure out, the season's definitely starting to come to a close. We got a lot of cold weather moving in, which is definitely going to start to shut everything down in regards to fishing. This week, we had some good, I got out Sunday in between a little bit of wind, and we still saw some striped bass and some bluefish around, catching them on spinning gear and flies. There's still some beach on the, still some fish on the surf. There's a lot of gannets working close to the beach in Southampton this morning on Wednesday. In regards to the other charter boats, Paulie Bruno, the Elizabeth II, took Trevor Meehan and a bunch of local Montauk boys out for a really good birthday trip. They were off Block Island on Sunday. They snuck out early in the morning before it got nasty. And these hardy kids did really good. They had a couple of them had a limit of blackfish. They had a bunch of sea bass, codfish, some triggerfish. So those kids did really good. We were really psyched to see the young kids out fishing. As I said before, at least this way you get some codfish to look forward to, possibly codfishing this winter. So it's been a good year. Looks like things are winding down. There might be a couple windows this weekend, so if you can, try to get out. Thank you.
From Shinnecock, let's check in with Mike Dean.
Thanks, Tim. Hey, everyone. We're down the home stretch for bass. Going into the weekend, a lot of people thought it was over and it was just going to be the March of the Death Rats, which definitely was for most of the day on Saturday. I found a batch of them, kept me busy for a couple hours. Still a lot of fun, just kind of like nonstop action. But once the sunset, it was pretty good. I got a whole bunch of like 26 to 28 inch fish and one slot fish that of course I released, and it was great. Since then, obviously it's been a little bit on the chilly side, but the fish are still here. On the light tackle, it's a lot of fun. The winds cooperated to get those small offerings. They really didn't want the bucktail. It was really just the small sand eels, or just when I was using the bucktail to get the teaser out there and got some fish on that. So, that'll probably continue. I mean, it's a sand eel bite, so it should go until December. I do think those bigger fish are gone, but over the weekend, there were a lot of gannets diving. There was a lot of bunker around. Number of guys got out in their boats, did fairly well. Not, 30, 40 pounders, but solid fish. So the action's there for the taking. So get at it with that. Blackfish, still some fish in the inlet. Not as many, a lot of shorts. The short to keeper ratio is kind of going up. But some of the boats that have gone out to the wrecks have done very well with cod, blackfish, and really nice sized sea bass. So you're going to regret not getting out there and catching the last few of the season this winter. So have fun this weekend. Catch them up. Back to you, Tim.
Let's go up to the North Shore, check in with Mark McGowan from Cow Harbor Bait and Tackle in Northport.
It's cold out. We're halfway through November right now, so what's to be expected is the fishing is slowing down a bit. The black fishing, I think these larger blackfish are starting to really put on a bite now. This is that temperature we really look for. And sea bass are in the mix. Porgies are gone. But the striped bass fishing is mainly smaller fish. They're on heavy up here by the Shinnecock River in the back harbors, whether you're in Centerport, Oyster Bay, Cold Spring Harbor, here in Northport. It really doesn't matter. Stony Brook is still red hot. Remember, these fish are small. They're definitely below the slot limit, so you really want to focus on using single hooks if you're using worms or something. I throw a lot of rubber shad. These fish love rubber shad. Because the water's been so crystal clear here, I really recommend going down to a 10 or 15 pound fluorocarbon direct tie on your lures, and the fishing will be great. I've been out every day after work. Sometimes I split from the shop, and if the tide is right, and average, anywhere between 2 to 7 fish in a 2-hour outing. So it's a lot of fun. You're bumping into friends on the beach, and that's a great thing. Just a little heads up for those people. Remember, it's cold out there, so if you're fishing in any areas, particularly by Shinnecock River or Crab Meadow up by us, or Lipa area, you really want to make sure you have a warm pair of waders on. Keep a tight wader belt on, and have your pullover over your waders, and then take your belt for your bag and your utilities, and have that over your pullover. It's very important. It'll keep the water out. Sometimes in these areas, they're very unassuming here in the North Shore, but the sand gets really soft sometimes. We're coming off the new moon, and we get these unusual currents because we've had a very high tide, and these back areas, they flood out, and they flood out fast, and your feet can give way, and sometimes people give a little splash. You never want your waders to fill with water. That's a really bad thing. You get hypothermia, and even worse yet, you would get yourself in trouble, an extra heavy weight, and suddenly you're not so buoyant anymore. So just remember, practice safety as we're getting closer to December. Help out others. I'll see you at the shop. If you need any service work, remember, we're always here for you. We got advice, call the shop. We have nothing but help and advice for everybody. And until next week, I bid you peace, tight lines.
After the fall run is over and it's time to put the boat away for the winter, Marine Mate of Lindenhurst has everything you need to decommission your boat. And their knowledgeable staff is there to guide you along the way. Marine Mate in Lindenhurst. From the Fire Island area in the Great South Bay, let's check in with Captain Al Lorenzetti.
Hey Tim, Fire Island report. Still a lot of fish around, a lot of striped bass. A lot of fish inside. Last Saturday I kind of aborted an ocean trip. It looked dead, no bird life, nothing on the machine, so I headed back inside. And I caught fish on plugs and on bait, including keeper fish in the slot size. So it looks like Saturday's going to be a real good day this coming weekend. Friday and Sunday not too bad, a little breezy, but you got to find that window in between and get out there and strike while the iron's hot. So weather determines everything. Blackfishing's also excellent still, and you know, when it gets cool like it is now, they really get on the bite. And there should be some nice fish caught this weekend as well. So most importantly, get out there, catch them up, and be safe.
Joe Bensavenga reported this week that he was out on the Captain Gillian again out of Captree. He said the fishing was great with tons of schoolfish and slotfish. Everybody who wanted a fish for the table went home with one. From Seaford, let's check in with Roger Boudou.
Hey Tim, hey anglers, how's it going? Porting out of the Jones Inlet area, and the striped bass action is still red hot. Fish are being picked up on umbrella rigs, actually. I had a buddy of mine out trolling by the inlet a little east, and right around the pencil in about 30 feet of water, a little closer to the beach, and you know, on umbrella rigs, 2 at a time. And he said that the green was working best, and also too the jig bite seems to be really working. The mojos are working and the bunker spoons, but it's a little slow. So the real hot bite right now is definitely on the jigs and the umbrella rigs. Now there's still a lot of blackfish being caught, at least from what I'm hearing, around the reefs and by the bridges. So if you have that chance, get out there and give it your best shot. So that's what we have to report for this week. Tim?
News 12 meteorologist Rich Von Olen had some schoolies out of Deb's Inlet right near the ER buoy last week on 007s and A17 diamond jigs. He said great fun on light tackle. Follow the birds and bait and you will find the fish. On the same day to the east of Deb's Inlet, angler Nick had a nice 40-inch bass on a live line bunker that swam away safely. Rich noted still a good amount of bass, and hopefully they will stick around through December. Remember, like our video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and tap on the bell to be notified instantly when we post a new video on YouTube. And of course, be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine to be part of the Coastal Kayak Clash contest, like Scott Schneider here of New England with this 25-inch tog, and win this Old Town Autopilot kayak worth over $4,000. Check out this video's description on YouTube for all the related links and more information. And please support our correspondents by visiting their website and social media pages. This cold weather will be replaced by a mild Steigercraft boats built by people who fish our waters. Serious anglers choose Steigercraft for their 40 years of boat building experience right here in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Visit Steigercraft.com for a dealer near you.